You don't have to struggle in order to get good things. I believe the reason why many of us have been preconditioned into thinking that we need to struggle in order to get good things is because of the environment that we were born into. As children, we're dependent on our parents or our caregivers, and we watch the way that they do things, and we watch the way that they handle situations. And through those interactions, it teaches us about consequences and rewards. And a lot of our parents subconsciously, unknowingly showed us that in order for us to get good things, we need to struggle. And this isn't just in actions, but this is also in the words that they say. Little things such as, if you work hard, you will get good grades. In order to get this, you have to work for this, and it's not going to be easy. Things like that, which seem so harmless and seem like they're just trying to teach us a good life lesson, can often have a negative effect if we aren't taught them properly. A great example I have of this is if you want to go out or if you want to have fun, you have to do chores, or you have to do something in return in order to have fun or to go out. So a lot of our parents will tell us this in order to build discipline within us, or in order to teach us that sometimes if you want something, you have to do something in return. And although I don't think inherently that this is a bad thing that they're teaching us or that this is a bad lesson, I feel like if they're constantly teaching us that in order to have access to good memories, in order to have access to fun, in order to enjoy our lives, we always have to do something, that a transition or that a transaction is always involved, that can end up leaving a sour taste in our mouths when we grow up, because we'll never feel like we're able to have fun or to do things unless we've done a long list of things that qualify us to enjoy the life that we've been given. And so a great example I have of this is, let's say you want to go hang out with your friends, and your parent says, well, you have to clean the whole entire house before you can do that. And then you clean the whole entire house, and in turn you're able to hang out with your friend. Growing up, let's say you also want to go out and go on a trip or travel or go out with friends, but your house is a mess or you haven't finished all your work. In our minds, that's going to teach us, and that's going to tell us that I am not allowed to enjoy anything. I am not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to receive this good memory. I'm not allowed to spend this good time with any of these people until I have done something, until I struggle, until I work hard for what I want. And working hard and having a good work ethic is a great skill, a great character trait to have. But we always hear that saying of how rich people don't work harder, they work smarter. And that's not to say that they don't work hard, but it's that they get to a point where they realize working hard only gets you so far. We've all been in a company or working for a place where we see somebody, and you might have been this person who is the hardest worker in the room, and yet no matter what they do, they never get boosted up to a higher position. I remember when I was working in fast food when I was a teen, I used to work so hard because inherently that was my nature. And again, I had been that type of person who grew up in an environment that taught me that I had to struggle in order to get good things. I needed to struggle to get promoted. I needed to struggle to get noticed. I needed to struggle to get seen. I need to struggle to get heard. I was taught that I needed to struggle in order to get the things that I acquired. I needed to struggle to get validated. And so when I went to work, naturally, I was a hard worker. And of course, the managers noticed that. And of course, the other coworkers noticed that. But they didn't notice that and then see me. They didn't notice that and then hear me. They didn't notice that and then give me validation. They noticed that and they took advantage. They noticed that and they got me to do more things that they wanted me to do without ever acknowledging me. And that's not to say that every time you work hard, you're just going to be swept under the rug. But the truth is, when we're taught that we have to struggle to get good things, we're always going to be struggling. We're always going to be striving. We're never going to know how to stop. And takers have a very good eye for people who give without limits and who give without bounds. And when we're always giving and giving and giving and giving, we're no longer giving from a full cup. We're giving from a depleted cup, because there's no way that you can continuously give and still have more to give other people after that. Somebody has to be pouring into you. You have to be receiving from some other source. And so as your parents and your caregivers affirm this, the more that you grow up, it will start to show up in the little things, right? So I used to get all the time when I was in school, you work so hard, you're too hard on yourself, you push yourself too hard. You don't have to get everything done in one day. You don't have to be super productive. And in my mind, that was just them saying to me, like, you can take a break, but if you take a break, you're not going to get to this point. If you take a break, you're not going to get this thing. And I was talking to a friend today, and she's moving out into an apartment, and she was just telling me about how she was trying to get stuff for her apartment. And she kept saying, I will sleep on the floor if I have to. I will do this. I will do that. Basically, I will struggle if that means that, once I graduate, I will get this, or once I get this certain job, I will get this, or once I'm in this certain relationship, I will get this. And it is that mindset of, I can be happy when I'm here. I can be satisfied when I'm here. I can finally start to enjoy life once I get to this point. And I have to say, that is the most dangerous way to think. If you're on social media, you'll see everywhere people are telling people, live below your means. Don't get more than what you can. And though I do believe in discipline, and though I do believe in learning to be content, I always say I live exactly at my means. I understand the principle behind living below your means, but I always live exactly at my means. I am not going to torture myself. I am not going to suffer. I am not going to make life unbearable in the name of saving money, in the name of being humble or fake humble in that moment. And so I say all that to say there is no point in living a life that you cannot enjoy. What is the point of buying or renting an apartment and all you're doing there is sleeping on an air mattress on the floor for 8 months? What is the point of paying all that rent if you're just going to be sleeping on the floor on an air mattress? You don't have a couch, you don't have any decorations up, your space isn't comfortable to you, your space isn't welcoming to you because you're doing all of this in the name of saving money, or in the name of feeling like you have to struggle in order to attain good things, or to deserve to live in a place that makes you feel comfortable, or to deserve to live in a place that makes you feel like you're at home. You can still learn how to be disciplined, but allow yourself to enjoy the rewards of your labor. Like, for example, for me, I'm also moving, and I have already started making a list of all the things that I want to get, how I want every different room to have a piece of my personality in it. And there's been a lot of people around me, and trust me, this will be family, and this will be friends, and these will be people who they really want to tell you what's best for you, but a lot of the times they're speaking out of fear, or they're projecting what they went through in the past, and they're living vicariously through you. And so as I was making my list for everything that I wanted to get, I had a lot of family telling me, just start humbly, don't have any furniture in your house, don't have anything here, don't do anything here. You're not here to have fun, you're here to go to school, you're not here to live this extravagant life, you're here to work and get your degree and pay off your student loans. And it's just like this flat hustler life. And when they were telling me all of that, for a moment I second guessed myself, and for a moment I felt like, maybe they are right. Maybe I should just lay low for 3 years and be uncomfortable until I get my degree. But then I realized that this whole life of, I'm going to suffer until I get to this, or I'm going to make life harder for myself until I obtain this, that life is such a futile life to live. And I am telling you, that life, it operates as if we have another day guaranteed. It operates as if we know when our last day is. And I don't mean to say it to scare you or anything, but you really never know when your last day on earth is. The Bible tells us that we shouldn't say, tomorrow I'll do this and the next day I'll do that, right? But we should say, if God wills it, then tomorrow I will do this and the next day I will do that, because we don't know the time or the hour. And it is very ignorant of us to think that we are promised another day, or that another day has to come. Another day does not have to come. And that's why we should be grateful every single time we do see another day. So I say all that to say, you don't have to struggle to get good things. You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know, life is changing constantly. You don't know when things are going to change. You cannot keep waiting until a certain milestone in order for you to start living your life. That is what my parents did. They waited until they got their first car, and then they got their first car and they're like, well, wait, let me wait until I get my first house. And then they got their first house and they said, well, wait, let me wait until I get, this dream job. And they kept waiting. And now they're here. They have kids. We're going into post-secondary. We're doing our own thing, and they're still waiting. And I have no clue what they're waiting for. Now we're waiting for retirement. impatient. And it's like, that's the problem with this cycle of waiting. You're always going to be waiting. There's never going to be a perfect time to start living your life like the present moment. And this is not a call to start using your money recklessly or not having discernment or not learning to be content in certain situations, but I don't believe that you need to suffer in order to have good things, right? I don't need to suffer and sleep on the floor for 8 months and have my apartment look like a hospital before I can start actually enjoying the place that I'm paying to be in, before I can actually start feeling like I'm at home. Like, I don't know about you, but I want to walk into an apartment. I want to walk into a home that I feel relieved to be in. If I had the worst day of my life and walking into my apartment would mean that would soothe my soul, that's what I need for myself. Because you can study, you can work, you can do all of these things, but if you don't have a good quality of life, internally you're deteriorating. Internally you're not enjoying your life. And the biggest lie that you will ever be told is that God does not want you to enjoy your life, that God does not want you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's what He wants for us. He wants us to live in abundance. He wants us to enjoy the things we worked for. He just doesn't want us to make that an idol in our lives. And that's where contentment comes in. That's where being content comes in. Because we can enjoy everything that we've been given, but if we're not learning, if we're not able to be content in what we have, those things will be taken away from us. And so tomorrow is not promised. Whatever you've been taught, do yourself a favor and unlearn those things. You do not have to struggle in order to deserve or to get good things. You're already deserving because of who you are. You're already deserving because God is your Father. You're already deserving because you've been through so much thus far. You already deserve good things. There's nothing you have to do to work or to strive or to build towards that. Certain milestones, certain things you will have to work for them, but not every little thing you have to struggle for in order to get.